right, everybody. I'm Andrew Badal. That is Juice Springsteen. Juice. What is it? Junk and Drew, right? That's what they call you? Junk?
I think that's what you call me, Drew.
There
but
it is.
that is not. Well, that doesn't look like that's what's on the marquee down here, unfortunately for you.
That's right. That's right. Andrew Badal at Juice Springsteen. We are live. It is March 6, 2025. We had the biggest heel turn in professional wrestling history. We have a major AEW, absolutely. A major AEW pay-per-view headed our way on Sunday. Revolution from Los Angeles, California. Card stacked. We're going to talk about the Tony Khan media call. Juice, it is good to see you, my man. How are you?
Great. And you know why? None of those things matter, because you know what happened today? WCW Vault, baby.
Well,
and they didn't even call it Vault. They just called it WCW because maybe they're revamping the brand. It's going to be on Tubi.
Dude, I mean, what a place to put it. We are, 2 minutes in here, so I'm going to guess that my buddy Blake Mitchmore,
I'm sure he'll trash everything.
Automatically got the victory with that one. What's going on, Ben? He said it would take you less than 5 minutes to talk about it. He was right. So.
Well, you talked about everything else already, so I had to hop in. I mean, Drew, with the network was amazing. The OG WWE network was amazing. And then let's just put it to Peacock and make it more difficult. And now it's on YouTube, full-fledged pay-per-views. They have 4 of them up right now. I think they're going to do the same thing with ECW. It's a smart idea because WWE Vault's been killing it.
I watched like 3 minutes of Greed because I never ordered it. And the opening with DDP was very, very good. But I will say this is not going to be a WCW show. But I will say this. They should have done a little bit more with the card. Like they could have, who else was on it? It was just Scott Steiner DDP. But anyway.
Of course. Well, I will say last thing, those last 3 WCW shows looked like things were turning around. It wasn't the greatest show of all time, but if you watch Sin, Super Brawl Revenge, and Greed, you see some of the guys that are on there, you're like, wow, I can't believe it, but they failed.
You are not going to turn this into a WCW show.
We're here. I know, of course not.
What jersey did you have on?
I'll give you one guess.
It's yellow and black? I'm going to go with the Pittsburgh Penguins Crosby jersey.
No, this is basketball, so take another guess.
I can't really see you. I don't know. Will Smith, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air?
No.
What do you got?
Caitlin
Clark. Makes sense.
I was gifted this at WrestleMania from my buddy Jeff, who is from Iowa, and that's when they lost in the Final Four and said, I don't have use for this anymore.
Makes sense.
Makes sense. And I love it. Yellow and black, it's sick. She's doing great things.
All right, buddy. What is on the docket today?
Well, I mean, I think we should, apropos, close the show with some AEW Revolution, predictions, look ahead, see what that is. Because we've said,
that's a great call, Jug.
That's right. I thought you were going to call me Jughead.
No,
Mr. Weatherby. But no, like the card is stacked. We've said that before. We'll speak its praises tonight, and I'm looking forward to watching it on Sunday. But I would be remiss if we did not talk about arguably the biggest moment, one of the biggest moments in the history of WWE, at least in the modern era. It's number 1. Okay, Mitch Moore says second biggest heel turn in wrestling history. I will say this: we will talk about it. I won't compare the two because to me, Hogan's had to happen for Cena's to happen and have that same levity, because Hogan at the time, people wanted him to turn, or it was time for it, but no one really thought it was going to happen. Why don't
you tell everybody what happened on Saturday first? Let's do that.
John Cena turned heel. He joined with The Rock.
He won the Elimination Chamber, and then John Cena did the unthinkable and turned heel. He turned on Cody, that son of a bitch, and
JR would have lost his mind.
Why? He low-blowed John Cena did. He low-blowed Cody, and Travis Scott and The Rock, and John Cena beat the holy shit.
Travis Scott being there, it was like it was as if you did the Bash at the Beach, but already had Rodman in the ring.
Right.
It was crazy. And I never really expected that. I'm a huge Travis Scott fan, huge wrestling fan. I cannot believe these things are just colliding at such a high level. All 3 of those guys, whatever you want to call them, it's like people were saying it's aura farming, because those are 3 huge celebrities.
Well, and that's why, when people want to make the comparison to Hulk Hogan, Scott Hall, and Kevin Nash, first of all, have an immense amount of respect for all three of those guys, especially Kevin. Kevin has been so kind to me. Has really allowed me to bend his ear in terms of the business of professional wrestling and everything else, thanks to Dave Hero. But I will say that if you're looking at this from that perspective, Kevin Nash, Scott Hall, Hulk Hogan, huge. But you have The Rock and John Cena. Both of them dwarf all of them combined. So the addition of Travis Scott is a very, very nice cross promotion, generational type of moment, because at the end of the day, Travis Scott appeals to a wide audience and a much bigger audience than World Wrestling Entertainment could ever dream and hope of appealing to. So
Absolutely.
with that being said, I will say this. Hulk Hogan and Kevin Nash and Scott Hall's heel turn, Hogan's in 96, definitely changed the business. They could have had John go heel when he became the ultimate babyface numerous times. It never happened. This is the biggest turn, in my opinion, in professional wrestling history, because John, although Hogan is probably the bigger name when it happened in 96 compared to when it happened now in 2025. I'm talking about if you're comparing just apples to apples here in Hulk Hogan. John Cena's reign as a top babyface far surpasses Hulk Hogan, and we never thought we'd see it coming. Now, John Cena's heel turn is not going to last the 2 full years like Hulk Hogan's did. And Hogan's heel turn in WCW was something that is generational. John Cena's, however long it's going to last, will 100% be generational as well, because this is something on a whole different level. And I'm going to say something quick about Travis Scott, and then we'll let you debate my Hogan, Hall, and Nash, Travis Scott, John Cena, Dwayne The Rock Johnson point. Travis Scott is more than likely going to wrestle at WrestleMania, in my opinion. And I will say this, I wouldn't be surprised if there's a exclusive Travis Scott shoe that Nike collabs with and drops WrestleMania weekend, which makes this probably the biggest thing in wrestling history ever.
And that title, they're going to brand that title because it's the WWE new title, but it's, hardcore over it, but it's tape. Travis Scott, man, like I said, I've been a huge fan of his for a very long time. This is the 10-year anniversary of Rodeo, which is the album that really kind of like popped off and made him a big deal. Mm-hmm. So it's crazy where he's come and how big he's actually gotten. You saw the video. I saw the video. Him going backstage afterwards. He caught the wrestling bug right in front of our eyes. And everybody saying
Travis has a ring, Juice. He has a ring in Houston,
I
believe. And I will say this. There's no such thing as coincidence. Paul Triple H Levesque is very good at this. He saw the hoopla and the bullshit circulating online, and he decided to post that video. So I'm just going to say that there's no such thing as coincidence, because there isn't, number one. Number two, it's wrestling. If you don't think that Cody told those boys to lay it in and make it look good, because this is going to be something that's talked about forever, you'd be wrong. But go ahead.
You can't make it look terrible when you're turning John Cena heel. You get one chance to do that, And just to touch on what you said, that's what makes the Cena turn different. And that's why I won't compare the two necessarily as the same. Like, Cena's is bigger because he's had a longer career and no one thought it would happen. And then they wanted it to happen. You thought maybe, but at the end of the day, we're all thinking, well, he's not going to throw away that money or whatever. Now they have Cody. They have Roman. They have so many people that sell merch. They don't need Cena to do that anymore. And if they go, John, can you want to pull the trigger on that?
Now, hold on.
I can't wait to see what potential merch they do shell out for these three guys.
Now, I will say this. Blake Mitchmore said this to me, and he was 100% right, because I had to go back and watch it. But John said if he does go heel, I believe it was on Chris Van Vliet's show, that he would do no merch. And I believe that John's one of the few people in the industry that I believe that when John Cena says, I'm retiring, he's going to be retired. I don't think you'll see John in a wrestling capacity anymore after 12/31/2025. When 1/1/26 hits, it's over for John Cena. And I fully believe that he will stand on that. No matter how much money he is offered to wrestle again, John has put himself in a place where he does not need to wrestle again, ever. And I will also say this. When it comes to the merchandise, this is the reason I was shocked. Because John Cena is leaving an immense amount of money on the table in terms of merchandise during WWE's Super Bowl, which is WrestleMania. Now, to your point, which is very, very well said. John Cena, they could forego John Cena, and I'm saying this very, very like with a lot of hesitation. They could quote unquote forego John Cena's millions upon millions of merch because and revenue wise, because they have Cody Rhodes and they also have a guy who's selling things left and right named Jey Uso. So
yeah, I'm not trying to miss it. I'm just saying that that was the speed bump because for how long in the doldrums of WWE 07 to like 2012, right before that first Rock match, Cena was the top of WWE, but how many other guys were doing that type of merch sale like him? None. And now WWE's gotten bigger and they have so much, such a wide variety of talent, men, women, legends. They have so much equity in that, and they don't need to have Cena do that. Now, my question to you is, sure, he could say that he's done, but does this heel turn, does the character affect that? And the big question is, let's say he does go back to being like, will he go back to being a face before he retires? Or does he say, I want to wrestle a little longer and make it to next year's WrestleMania and close it out that way? What's your opinion? Like, should he end it as a heel and make that stamp? Because I think it'd be more profound instead of going back on it.
So I think it's a really good question. And the reason why I'm grinning ear to ear is because I spoke about this to a couple people and they both agreed. They said to me that I think what you're saying makes a lot of sense, Drew. And I said, well, I think this is something that could happen. And I basically reiterated what you just said. I said, if John has this generational run and John goes on this like 6-month, like absolute insanity as a heel turn, right? As a heel character because of the heel turn. I think it was so smart of Triple H and WWE and TKO when John asked, hey, can I turn heel or is this a possibility? I'd like to do this before my career's over. The longer this goes, the longer Triple H stretches this or John stretches it, who's ever in control of this, because it seems like whatever John is asking for, they're obliging and they're giving and everything else like that. I think there's a slight possibility that John could wrestle past what he has stated. Now, does he wrestle past, into 2026? That I'm unsure of, but could they add more dates? They absolutely could. This run was the perfect way, in my opinion, to rehook John Cena, because John's all right now and outside other projects. He flew to Africa. He was in, I don't know where he was before that, but he's here, there, and everywhere. He's in McDonald's. He's on Ford commercials. He's there. So John is everywhere. For a guy you can't see, the guy's everywhere. What this does, in my opinion, is it hooks him right back into maybe wanting to do this for more dates, which will equate to more money. But if you could get like I said, a 6th to 7th month full, because we're only in March, if you could stretch this to October, or let's just say August, and he's full-time.
SummerSlam,
yeah. Man, I think they'll be off to the races with it.
Because there's more of his dates on the back end of WrestleMania than there are leading up to it. And I know that they've announced 3 of them. I think May, I believe, a couple of dates after WrestleMania that they've announced for Cena on SmackDown. I believe they've announced. So that, that lends itself to, he's going to be in the thick of it no matter what, champion or not. But again, I just want to know if he goes back to being a babyface, like how quickly do you want that to happen? And is the only way to do that to go against The Rock, like to turn on The Rock? Like he's the guy that he shook hands with. What does that lead?
So it is
where's this lead? Is there one more guy? Are we really doing this? Could that third guy usurp Cena and Cena feels left out and then goes back and tags with Cody to go against Rock? Like there's a lot of avenues here, Drew.
I'm going to say something that'll probably be somebody else will claim that they claimed it, or somebody else will say like, this is what's happening. I fully believe that if you really want to make the most impact, are you drinking a ginger ale?
Oh yeah. A little chilly out today.
Is it? A little ginger ale and chicken soup for you. I'm going to say this, and a lot of people are going to be like, there's no way. I'm going to tell you, if you want to make the most bang for your buck, if you want to really turn this industry up on its ear and they would all kind of fit, Hollywood. Go get me CM Punk to join these two boys.
I could,
and I know everyone's like, well, dude, Punk just came out and totally ripped The Rock and ripped Cena and everything else like that.
That's the genius of it.
That would be it. And I'm telling you, those three would print. Those two and Travis are going to print money. But those three.
Give me the should have been WrestleMania 29 triple threat main event as a heel faction. That's insane.
Well, and here's what I'm going to say. The reason I say that is because I fully believe that there's only 2 matches on Dwayne The Rock Johnson's docket, and then he's done. Because he's got to go do fast, and then he's got to do the Scorsese film. One of them is Cody, and the other one's Roman. We still could get Roman at WrestleMania this year, and then they could do Cody at SummerSlam. And here's why I'm going to say that this is where I think John Cena's end as a bad guy comes into play. And I'll let you guys, depict this and call it stupid or say you love it or whatever. That's the beauty of this. That's why this is professional wrestling, and it's my opinion. I think John will lose at WrestleMania. Okay. And I think a lot of people will be like, what? Why? How can he do that? John will then win the Money in the Bank and be able to call his shot. At SummerSlam, Cody and The Rock will have their match. Cody will be damn near incapacitated. And it won't be for the title, okay, between Cody and The Rock. Because The Rock won't want the championship. He wants Cody's soul. So, John will have the Money in the Bank briefcase. He will run down with it. And it's all but a foregone conclusion. Cody's damn near dead. Okay? And he goes to hand, and The Rock, do it. Come on, do it. And he goes to hand the briefcase to the referee, and he can't do it. And he blasts The Rock with it and walks out. And helps Cody. That's how I think you get John back. Now, if John happens to win the championship at Mania, or they want to run this longer than till SummerSlam, they can do whatever they want. But I'm just saying, when you ask, how do you get John back? I think that's how you get John back.
Well, you could also have Cena win the title, and whenever he, has a defense, that defense that he ends up eventually losing, who do you turn against? The guy that, probably got you there. And where you brought up Punk, I've seen where, you don't know what happens on that night 1 of WrestleMania, but if there is that triple threat, Roman, because we haven't seen Roman yet, that's another huge piece of this. I'm looking forward to seeing where they insert Roman into all this. Seth and Punk are having the cage match next week at Madison Square Garden. WWE's on fire right now.
Yeah.
But if they do a triple threat at Mania, is that favor?
Triple threat for what? What do we have in a triple threat of?
Rollins, Punk, and Roman on night 1, if they were to do that.
All right, let me ask you something.
I don't want it. I'm just saying people are saying that could be a match.
I'm not going to sit here and tell you that it's not. I mean, it could happen. The match could happen. It doesn't need to have a stipulation or anything attached to it. But my question to you is the favor from Heyman, in my opinion, why would you use the favor on just inserting yourself into a match unless it's the main event? Because that's what Punk
that's what I was saying. He has the match on Saturday, but he wants to cash. He loses the Roman in that triple threat. But Punk cashes in the favor for night 2 somehow, finds a way into the world title match.
What's interesting to me is Punk's promo was very much like, I can't stand you, John. I hate you, Rocky. Okay. And we both know that I don't think there's a match with CM Punk and The Rock happening. I don't see that happening. So it's interesting that he, was calling out The Rock and all that other stuff. But
he's always hated The Rock. Again, Rock beat him at Rumble 2013.
Sure.
They have a history.
Yeah. The only thing I'm saying,
your arms are too short to box with God.
Box with God. Yeah.
Come on.
What I'm saying, Juice, is that I think a lot of people are, drawing this conclusion that there isn't another guy. I think there's another guy, and I don't think it's Travis Scott.
Could be Drew.
Could be.
And
never know.
And not you.
I still think we're on the path to Rock and Roman. Now, everything will tell you that we're not. You have a steel cage match at Madison Square Garden, which is a massive main event. Okay.
Huge. That's ridiculous.
And obviously Roman returning at the Garden with Paul Heyman, where Paul Heyman was taken out. Heyman's already been back, but it's very, it's very poetic. So I could see it. And that would lead everybody to believe that we are getting this triple threat that was rumored. But I will tell you that Triple H has gone to, and some other writers and people in WWE, they've gone to an insane length to keep this WrestleMania card as unpredictable as humanly possible.
And he said as much in the presser, whether this is, how he wanted to phrase it or not. He's like, well, the hottest angles are going to be the main event. Maybe they're just unaware of what that necessarily will be. I can assure you Cena Cody will be main event night 2, but everything else is probably
Well, what the other thing that would be interesting, and I can't see this happening because then they're taking two of their biggest merch sellers away. But I do want to touch on this. This is a good if we could put this up, producer. There
I
it is.
thought I thought that could
The
be something.
third guy is Jey Uso. That would be something because then if Jey wins the championship, which I do believe he will on Saturday,
both champions as heel champions.
And you have The Rock as the people's champion. I mean, that image alone with those three holding championships would be very NWO-esque, would it not?
Oh my God. If Jey Uso being the third man, I would compare that to Hogan being, it would be so unpredictable after such an ascent to the heights that we've seen. And who did Jey Uso come out with on that first episode of Netflix? Oh, that's right. Travis Scott.
That's right. John B. Harrington, one of my close friends, says sounds like a good way to build Rock and Roman. John, I would agree, but again, you know what? Sometimes you have to take what they're throwing in front of you. And I have thought for the longest time, you know this, everybody here listening knows this. I have thought that Rock and Roman are on a collision course for WrestleMania here in Vegas. That's why they moved it. That's what The Rock wants. He wants this match. Everyone thinks The Rock is going to work WrestleMania 42. I don't believe there's a snowball's chance in hell he wrestles at WrestleMania 42, truthfully. I just don't see it because that would be right in the Scorsese wheelhouse of when they're filming. So I just don't see it.
You might get, I would wager Cena at 42 has a better chance of happening than Rock, because if Cena still is a heel or wants to extend his retirement, I could see him extending it to WrestleMania to have his actual final match at WrestleMania. Although I don't know how that would look, kind of screwing the fans by saying, well, this is my last Mania, but that would be very heelish of John, and he's turned heel, so anything's possible in the World Wrestling Federation.
What's very interesting about what you stated, and I will say this because I don't think a lot of people are picking up on this either, is WWE has not marketed or promoted at all that this is John Cena's last WrestleMania, which is very interesting because that is
Toronto. They did it with the Rumble.
This is very, very big for them. And I will say that this is something that they will market and promote to extreme lengths, even if it is a heel John Cena. So it's interesting, very interesting. We've talked about The Rock. We talked about John Cena. I do want to talk about Travis Scott. I believe a 6-man tag is very much on the table.
If you will.
Yeah, I also believe a tag match is on the table as well. One involving him on one side and Bad Bunny on the other.
Hell yeah. I'm here for it. Again, seeing some of these guys I'm such a huge fan of, and them to just cross over into my favorite hobby.
It's nice, isn't it?
It's crazy because it's at the top of everything and everybody's talking about it. John Cena's heel turn was on First Take. It was on local radio here. It was insane. Like everywhere I never would have thought. And it's been on ESPN before, but this is like an angle that they're covering, not just covering that the show's happening.
Well, it's interesting to me that everybody wants to be a part of WWE and TKO, and that just shows you how hot the brand is right now. It's one thing to invite these people and they sit ringside, right? We saw Drake, we saw these other people
who they didn't announce,
right? But I think Drake probably wanted that done on purpose. And then there's all these other football, baseball celebrities, UFC fighters, blah blah blah. That's smart. It's good cross-promotional material. It's very smart to show the appeal and how all the cool kids are at a WWE TKO event. So it's smart. But what I will say is when you could get Bad Bunny and Travis Scott, the caliber of those celebrities, to want to wrestle, we're talking about something completely different. So
exactly. And Bad Bunny has shown he can do it. He loves it. And Travis Scott somehow lucks his way into the biggest angle in the last 25 years. I think that is easily a way to hook him in. And like you said, he's planning on a ring if he doesn't already have one being built now. And I'm sure he says he's going to bulk up a little bit, which he should. He's more of a skinnier guy. But so if you look at some of his music videos in the past, he's worn some unique, like futuristic gear. I think he could kind of mask his size by having some sort of unique gear made. And him versus Bad Bunny is a pretty even matchup size-wise. So we're not talking Giant and Rey Mysterio here.
Great match.
Yeah.
Fun match.
Or Nash and Rey Mysterio as well.
Was that mask versus hair?
That was a tag match that happened, and that was Super Brawl, which I'm sure it'll be uploaded on the vault. So we did talk about MSG coming up, Roadblock coming up. Huge week for the MSG audience. If you're if you're in the area, just go check out a steel cage match at the world's most famous arena. So they didn't announce Roman, but you're assuming Roman's going to make his presence.
They're not going to announce,
especially with Paul Heyman.
I have no idea if Roman's showing up or not. Again, I'm not an insider, never have been, never will be. And if I'm given information by somebody or somebody, I'll never make it public, and at the end of the day, nobody is going to know that, hey, Roman or John's turning or Rock's going to be there besides the people involved. So most of the time people are just guessing. I have no idea whether or not Roman is going to be at the Garden, but I think it's the right time and the right place, Juice. So.
Absolutely. Did you think it was the right time and place for Rhea Ripley to lose her women's championship? Because Elimination Chamber happens. I'd be remiss if we didn't bring up Jade Cargill going after Naomi. Although I think Bianca is still the guilty party in all of this, Yet she wins the chamber. And, oh, great. Rhea and Bianca wanted this for over a year and a half. Nope, just kidding. Although I think we're on our way to a triple threat. So were you shocked that Rhea lost the title? And I thought it was a great match to close out Raw this past week.
Great match to close out Raw, no doubt about it. Very main event esque material there with those two women just absolutely killing it. Was I shocked? No, because anything can and will happen in the World Wrestling Federation. But I will say that Rhea is going to be involved in WrestleMania, obviously. I think she'll be involved in the Women's World Heavyweight Championship match. But if they decide to go with a singles match between Io and Bianca, I don't know where Rhea would land then. I think it's got to be the triple threat, because also, what about Becky? Well, it seems to me like Becky, all signs could point to a mixed tag match. But,
deleted.
The rumor would be that that's where we're headed if we're not getting this triple threat with Seth Rollins, or we're not getting another Punk Rollins match, because I don't know what stipulation they could put on this one after the cage. Like, they're going to do a Hell in a Cell?
No.
Might as well kill CM Punk. I mean, he's already done one this year.
Well, he's done the Grand Slam of cage matches. Chamber, Hell in a Cell, Steel Cage.
Nobody knows what that is. I don't even know what that is.
Well, in 6 months, he's done all those matches. He did War Games.
So he's the Steel Cage Iron Man?
He just completed the Cage Grand Slam in 6 months with War Games, Hell in a Cell, a Steel Cage coming up, and he did Elimination Chamber. He's a part of all 4 of those types of matches within a 6-month span, which is pretty crazy if you think about it. But to me,
okay.
Well, no, I just saw it on Twitter the other day. It was just like they noticed that this was a little factoid.
I mean, it is a very nice fact. I mean, that is a hell of a run.
And that's what I'm saying. I don't think that he's going to go. I don't think it's going to go into a Hell in a Cell. I'm more in the camp of this is probably their blow off for now, as long as the title's not involved. Because once the title's involved with both guys, I'm sure they'll revisit it. But a cage will be a blow off, MSG, and that's where you probably get a Roman thing. And that's where whatever happens Monday night, I would assume, is where you're going to kickstart whatever happens in their plans for WrestleMania with any of those 2 or 3 guys.
Yeah, you would need to. You'd need to get that out and underway, because at the end of the day, I mean, we're only looking at 7 weeks until WrestleMania.
Yeah, it'll be about a month and change. Yeah,
they got to get moving quick. So
right, because there's only a couple matches set so far.
And I'm gonna say something, and I don't care who clips it and uses it and whatever. WWE, for the first time in a long time, is having trouble moving WrestleMania tickets. There is over 18,000 tickets available for WrestleMania. Now that's including both nights, but you got to figure that's in excess of 9,000 or 10,000 tickets. There could be close to 20. I haven't done the final counts, but I mean, you're looking at 20,000 tickets available for WrestleMania night 1 and night 2. Again, combined, not singular, but that's a lot of tickets. They're going to want to stack this. As soon as they announce Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is wrestling, I could see them moving half of the allotment. But it's going to take a lot more than just The Rock right now to move 20,000 tickets, especially at those prices. Could they come down? Sure. I could tell you that travel and hotel costs have dropped significantly in the past month. So I could see it. But WWE, for all the momentum that they have and continue to ride that very, very thick money train, they got to do some work on Mania. And I I hate to say I told you so, but I told you so 6 months ago that this was going to be an issue.
Well, you talked about it way back with Mr. LeBar about how, tickets and everything, WrestleMania is going all over the place. You never know where it's going to land, and things are only going to get more expensive. Raw, for instance, is coming to Pittsburgh. Tickets just went on sale. And I was telling people, like, hey, this is not just Monday Night Raw. It's on Netflix now. This is a different entity at this stage. It's never happened in this market yet.
It's still probably like, what, $275 to sit dead center in the 100 level?
Yeah, literally exactly pretty much right in the wheelhouse of where I'm going to be and what I spent. So
that's crazy.
I used
to be able to take 3 people to Monday Night Raw plus myself for $270.
I'm curious to see where the tickets are closer to the show, like on the secondary market where they bottom out at, but I still think they're going to be pretty expensive in comparison to before.
Yeah, the bubble's going to burst eventually. You might as well ride the wave as long as you possibly can. I understand, grab your profits and keep going. But what they're doing is they're removing a fan base that might never come back in terms of going to live events. The hardworking blue-collar Americans and even your internationals are probably not, they're going to be turned away because at the end of the day, they just can't afford to go. And I understand maybe that's what they're trying to do, them being TKO. But that is the lifeblood. And that is the pulse of professional wrestling and sports entertainment, in my opinion. And when you start to lose them, they'll come back, but they come back slower and slower and slower because they don't have the expendable cash flow that most people do who are attending these events. I don't know many people who could spend $3,000 to go sit in seats that you could barely see the ring for both nights at WrestleMania.
Yeah, and I would say I'm pretty blue collar in regards to my, shoot job and where I'm at financially. Yet, as a hardcore wrestling fan,
job. Please don't say shoot, like real. We could just say real job.
What do you mean? It's the wrestling show. We got to use wrestling terms, right? Isn't that how it works, Drew?
Yeah, my bad. Go ahead.
Come on, get with the program.
That's right.
Don't work yourself into a shoot. But my work is a shoot. How about that? So with that being said, I'm also an uber hardcore wrestling fan. So the odds are I'm going to try to make it happen regardless of where it lands me, but not everybody is there like that. And not like, if you can't afford it, you're more than likely just not going to go,
So it's
going to be tough for those that are kind of considering it or think, oh, I'll take my family out. You can't. Otherwise you're spending upwards of $1,000 just for 4 tickets.
Yeah, I mean, Easter's a factor. The cost is a factor, and it's also Vegas. Like
everything, yeah.
I wanted to take my son to this year's WrestleMania. I knew it was going to be in Vegas, obviously. When they pulled it from Minnesota, I was like, that's it. It's going to Vegas. And I said I would take him to Vegas because I had heard that it was going to New Orleans. And New Orleans is a great host city. Now that's confirmed. New Orleans is a great host city, but it's really not for kids. Okay? I'll just be real with you. It's not,
really?
It's less for kids than Vegas is. I know that sounds crazy.
But you're dead on.
But I will tell you, if you've never been to Bourbon Street, I've been about 5 or 6 times. I've been to 2 Super Bowls, 2 WrestleManias, and an NCAA Final Four. Watch out. Because
congratulations on all your success.
Yeah, it'll get you. Okay. So if you got young kids, maybe I'm not trying to deter you from going to WrestleMania on Bourbon Street, but I would, it's not on Bourbon Street, but I would probably go to Vegas instead of wait. But I will say that I wanted to bring Jackson. I wanted to do this type of stuff, and I wanted to bring him to Vegas. And then you look at the ticket costs, and even you can't even call. I have friends who work there. You can't even call them and ask them for tickets. There's nothing. You can't get a thing.
I've been telling people, I'm like, I've been to now 5 WrestleManias. I love going. It's one of my favorite trips to take anytime I can do it. Because I did it 4 years in a row, and then COVID happened, and I only got to go this past year because it was drivable. Now, now, if I just bought a ticket for WrestleMania, it would cost so much, and that's not counting food, travel, lodging, any other expense is not counted in there, and I'm spending well over $1,000 just to sit in the seat, not even getting there. So it's so out of the range of me. And again, as a hardcore fan, I would love to try to make it out there. Like, are you kidding me? Of course I want to go to Vegas. WrestleMania 2 nights, huge deal. Cena and Cody, but if I can't do it, I'm not going to try. And I'm sure a lot of other fans are feeling in a similar way. So it'll be interesting to see if they pull a trigger on a Rock match and get some tickets moving, as you said.
They will. I think they'll need to. I think this is a good barometer. This is a good litmus test for SummerSlam. Be careful.
Litmus test.
That's what I said. Litmus. What do you think I said?
We'll clip it. You said litmus.
What
It's like
percent?
how I'll bring it up when we talk about Revolution, but
Sure.
I've been very interested on how you pronounce the last name of the aerial assassin.
Ospreay.
Yeah, but maybe I'll clip and send you some off air. I swear you say like Osprey.
Maybe. Who knows? Who cares?
You know what? Maybe I do.
I think it's a good way to look at what you can and cannot do during SummerSlam at MetLife. I know they got an insane rights fee to go there. I know that they got, big money, but what they need to do is they need to take what they're doing in Vegas, look at it, and make sure that they don't repeat what they're doing there at MetLife Stadium. Because I'm going to tell you this right now. I don't believe SummerSlam is going to be a great 2-night event anywhere. Selling tickets.
And to start off in New York, this would be your best chance, no?
Yeah, but the problem is, like I said,
I'm saying, if it doesn't work there, it won't work anywhere else. Like New York's like, okay, the odds are we'll do real well, but anywhere else, like,
I basically said it without saying it. Truthfully, I don't think WWE TKO is going to give a shit if they sell out or not, because they got an insane site fee. So I get it, but you're going to want to put at least 50, 60, 70,000 in that sucker per
Minneapolis
night.
Minneapolis better show up and show out when they get it next year.
Minneapolis might be a little different because we really don't get a ton of big pay-per-views here.
I know.
So maybe, but I mean, MetLife Stadium, I think it's August, right? It's not July.
Yeah. I don't know if they even have do they have a date yet?
They have a date. They have a date. And
they don't have a date for the Rumble yet. That's what it is.
No, let's see. SummerSlam. And again, yeah, it's Saturday, August 2nd and Sunday, August 3rd. This is the first 2-night SummerSlam ever. Okay. Yep. So I think The Rock will be on it, and they're going to need him because they want to pack 80,000 people each night. Good luck.
Oh my God. That sounds so daunting.
And you have people talking about making the Rumble and Money in the Bank 2 nights. Like, get lost. I want nothing to do with that. Nothing.
Stack marbles on a freeway.
Right. You smoking cigarettes backwards. But make sure, you see again, grab as much money as you possibly can. I get it, but make sure you don't make the same mistake and be sitting on 20,000 tickets a couple days. I should say 6 weeks out.
A couple days. Yeah, WrestleMania just around the corner.
I mean, it's like what? 37, 40, whatever it is.
It's like, I think it's around 40. Well, I mean, there's no other shows in between. There's no Saturday Night's Main Event, is there?
Well, and that's a good point right there. This Garden show is really being treated like a mini PLE.
Right. Well, there you go then. Speaking of PLEs, I want to touch on a couple of topics real quick before we end with AEW Revolution. It's rumored, it's not official yet, but the Natural Disasters could be going into the Hall of Fame. Thoughts on Mr. Quake and Typhoon as a tag team and separate?
Great tag team. Happy for them. I guess Demolition's never getting in.
That's brutal. That's brutal, man.
Yeah.
But I mean, Typhoon, hey, Shockmaster is making it to the Hall of Fame, baby. Good for him.
And unfortunately,
Uncle Fred.
One of them is not with us, so.
Gone way too soon. 2006. It's almost been 20 years since John Tenta passed, and he's one of the best big men. His Dark Side of the Ring episode was beautiful. Man, yeah, gone way too soon.
Speaking of which, you know what I'm going to watch tonight? I think a lot of people should watch as well. I think you should watch Dark Side of the Cage, The Disappearance of Ronda Rousey. Go check it out. That's a name to keep on your I don't know,
radar.
Keep it on your forehead. That's a name to keep it on your forehead.
You got a big one.
It's a lot of brain up here, brother.
Oh, wow.
Even though I call
that's debatable.
I call Will Ospreay, I guess. Who cares?
Monday Night Nitro.
The MLB.
Well, that's the thing. Some people used to call it, Bret Hart said the WCW. Because he didn't know. He didn't know any better. He was so confused because you're conditioned to think from the World Wrestling Federation, but the World Championship.
The World. That's right. Yeah, I've never noticed that until you said that now. The WCW.
Yeah, it just doesn't work that way. But and nothing ever worked with Brett and WCW.
No, some things I do on purpose, some things I don't.
Sure.
I think the one thing that I did on purpose for a while, which got a lot of people angry, was Champa and Champa. And then
Oh man, but that's like nothing. That's a little pronunciation, like Gunther or Gunther.
Well, no, and then I used to call. I did it once by accident, and then did it on purpose since this person brought it up. But it was Stratlander instead of Statlander. I said Strat.
That's funny.
Shout out to Blake Mitchell.
Do you ever say Blake Mitchell less?
I call Blake Mitchell because he pretends he's Italian.
Why are you wearing that ring? You're not on the team.
Well, no, it's always on my desk, so I grab it and throw it.
That thing is it's ridiculous.
It
engulfs your hand. It is stupid.
It's stupid. It's just it's a prop. But
one more thing I wanted to bring up. So we talk about natural disasters. Potentially, and I've been wanting this for a while, and it's been so long, but there's pretty loaded roster now to do it. Evolution 2 PLE could be coming as soon as June or July. I would be here for it. They got plenty of women to throw out there.
I'm checking in on it. And I will have solid confirmation. I don't want to say that because then I'll probably I probably won't hear, but I should have solid confirmation sooner rather than later. But I think it works. July 4th weekend, Connecticut. I think it could work. And I think, listen, the women have held it down for many, many years, and some of their matches and programs are better than the men's. I think the Bailey stuff, the Bailey and Sasha Banks and some other stuff during the pandemic really held WWE TV together. So they deserve it. On a term that's overused in the business, they absolutely deserve an event.
Oh, see, now we're going to use terms.
You deserve. I hate that chant.
I prefer that over the constant "we want tables." Don't you think that they also are going to use tables and know about it already? Why do you have to ask for it?
Well, you could blame. This is a can of worms that would take hours upon hours of discussion, but that's what happens when you give these bloodthirsty animals too much, and then they expect too much, and then when people did 450 splashes when I was watching, that was captivating. Now it's just like, it's Wednesday.
Speaking of where the best do moves, let's talk about AEW Revolution. Big card. Looking forward to it. Their pay-per-views. I literally cannot tell you one pay-per-view where I've been like, wow, that really failed me. Every single show I've watched has been like, amazing. This match was great. Or like I could pick out multiple matches where I'm like, that was amazing, when I might not be able to say that for any other show in any other company. And that's not to be tribalistic. They really bring it on pay-per-view.
You're 100% right. AEW has a great track record on pay-per-view. They continue to deliver time after time. And it was something I asked Tony on the media call. I do want to touch on that before we get into
bring that up. What do you think of John Cena's heel turn?
Well, listen, I don't want to completely sandbag the guy who asked, or if it was a female. I don't remember. When I heard it, I was floored.
But we brought it up last week. You get an opportunity, you got to make the most of it.
Yeah,
People talk about it.
And if that's what you're looking for, then good for you. But I would be shocked if said person is on further media calls, because basically, all kudos to Tony. Tony could have just been like, listen, I appreciate the question, but I can't comment on the other company's stars. I saw it, and we'll leave it at that. And he didn't.
He was like, I was too busy watching Collision.
Right. But I mean, I got to give Tony a lot of credit.
Meltzer didn't see it.
Well, I got to give Tony a lot of credit because he answered it. He said, I focus on what we're doing because that's what I need to focus on. And he said, I used to focus on a lot of this outside noise and everything else like that, and I don't anymore. And I think that's good on Tony, because Tony needs to take that mentality and that approach. And then he said, I saw it though, and I that's good that he acknowledged that he watched it, because everybody and their mother saw it. So it'd be bullshit. So I got to tell
MJF brought that up. He said, I would be lying if I didn't say that if you're a pro wrestler in this industry, it would be derelict to not watch other companies and to, improve your intellect as a pro wrestling entity, to, take it all in, learn from it, see what's going on.
Yeah. And the thing is that I will say that Triple H's post-show press conference was the best he's ever done for, that stuff. in terms of PLE post show. And this was the best Tony Khan media call that I've been on. And I've been on a lot. I think Tony answered everything honestly. I don't think he tried to give any fluff. I don't think he avoided any questions. And I will tell you that I got to, shout out to the media people that were on that as well. Some of them asked some pretty prominent and hard-hitting questions. Somebody took my question. I had to pivot. Luckily, I have 3 questions always on and ready to go. But somebody took my question about AEW and WBD and Max, and if the pay-per-views are going to be on it, and Tony confirmed they will. They just don't have the infrastructure yet, which I talked about yesterday. That was the main reason that they don't have, their pay-per-views on Max, and why WBD hasn't announced anything yet. I still think Texas is the time and the place for All In for that. And, then we had the question by Dave Meltzer, who gets a lot of shit. But Dave asked the question, about these releases. What's the change of heart here, Tony? Because it was very much like, we're not releasing anybody. Their contract's their contract. And Tony answered it honestly. And then, I asked him about running the crypto, which I thought was a good question for him, because there's never been another company besides the WWE in the past 25 years or 24 that has ran the Staples Center Crypto.com arena. WCW ran a Nitro there once in 2000, and it was a bomb. But
wow, anything in WCW 2000 never had a chance. So
surprised they even got to the Staples Center. But anyways, it's not the arena it was then that it is now. And Tony was very excited about running it. And then we had the question about John Cena. So again, it was one of the best media calls I've ever been on. There was a lot of information, and Tony answered everything the best of his ability without getting into too much storyline stuff. And realistically, there wasn't a ton of questions about that. We let off with John Alba talking about Copeland and what he means to AEW in the locker room and stuff like that, which I think is desperately needed, because there's a lot of people on the internet right now saying that Copeland doesn't ever lose. So it's interesting.
Didn't he just tap or pass out at the last show, Grand Slam?
No, they won that match. Oh no, you're right. They lost that match. They did.
He passed out in the thing.
I think somebody put the stats up. I don't know who gives a shit, but I don't think Copeland has lost a singles match in like 2 years.
That right, but he did lose something. But again, not everybody can win. Not everybody can lose. I don't know. What do people want? Did they have not watched wrestling before?
One thing I will say that is, if Copeland is going to elevate talent, he better do it quickly.
Well, I think that's what we could be getting here as we dive into the AEW Revolution card. So let's just let's get the pre-show match out of the way. Big Boom AJ and the Conglomeration taking on Johnny TV and MXM Collection. I'm hyped to see Big Boom in there again, and I'm glad that they made it a trios match instead of going one-on-one, because I think there would have been some flack about that. I felt the QT Marshall thing was perfect for what it was, and it doesn't need to go any further than that. It's good branding. We've brought up the criticisms of what happened during Rumble weekend, and hopefully this match goes off without a hitch. And I'll be interested to see what else happens, if there's any sort of viral moment or anything that'll be interesting to pontificate.
I congratulated AJ on his match at Full Gear. I thought he did a really good job given the situation. I do not care about this match. I appreciate what AJ has brought to AEW in terms of outside eyeballs, and he's polarizing, him and his son. But,
ultimate salesman.
Yeah, but I'm out. I'm out on him, and I'm out. I like the kid. I like the Rizzler, but I'm out on AJ. So, I'm very positive on AEW. I'm very positive. Of course you are. Of course you are.
You're very positive in general, Drew. That's what I love about you.
I appreciate that, but I'm out.
Have you ever had a double chunk chocolate cookie from Costco, though?
I've had the chicken bake. I've had their pizza. I have had their cookie, but I haven't had their double chocolate chunk. I've just had their chocolate chip cookie. I don't know what. I don't know what.
Maybe that's what they is. That's what they name it. So you probably have had it, but it's just the big ass cookie.
Yeah, I've had it. My kids love it.
It was wonderful. I hadn't had one. Got to go to Costco around Full Gear, and I was like, well, hey, why not? Right?
Listen,
damn good.
They're smart at what they do. It has nothing to do with AJ as like a wrestler. It has nothing to do with AJ as an in-ring talent, or even somebody who wants to give back to the wrestling industry or get into the wrestling industry. I just don't like what I've seen in terms of, being loyal to the brand. That's just me.
Well, so we talked about it. You gotta, if you're given an opportunity like I said before, like if you give someone an inch and they take a mile, well, you didn't give them a mile.
Yeah.
You gave them what you gave them. So
it's not my company and I shouldn't give a
Yep.
shit, but I just didn't like what
That's okay.
transpired.
Yeah, but it's an opinion, just what we do here on Drew and Junk. So let's get to the real meat and potatoes, though. Let's just rattle them off. Steel cage, Kyle Fletcher, Will Ospreay, or Ospreay, however you want to pronounce it. This is going to be nuts. This is going to be absolutely insane. A cage match with two unbelievably talented in-ring wrestlers. It's been a unique build to this. Yeah. And I like the presentation of Kyle. Like Kyle Fletcher is he's done the same thing that I've seen with some other characters where I might not like Ricochet too. Really didn't give much credence to them. And then as time goes on, their promos are getting better. They're doing way more, outside of the ring. Cause I know that they're great in the ring, but I want to see more. I want to see that they can do more because it's, makes more engaging, entertaining television. I like what they're doing with this match. I have Will Ospreay getting the win. I hope they're okay and nothing crazy negatively happens in this match.
What's the series at right now? Is it 1-1?
It might be 1-1, which would be the same as Tony and Mariah May. So capping off a couple of trilogies here.
I know Kyle beat Will at Full Gear, right? Kyle beat Will at Full Gear.
Yes.
And then I think Will beat Kyle in the Continental Classic at whatever that pay-per-view was before that. World's End.
Yeah, they have one-on-one, I think. They had they've had 3 matches. Let's see. Well, World's End, they had one, and then they had one at Full Gear. And I think that was in the regular stuff. And then there's one on Dynamite, 231. So there's 3 matches, but I actually don't see
231. There's no 31 days in February, Juice.
No. Very good, Drew. I'm saying episode 231.
Oh, got it. Okay. Well, you could have just said the date. I don't think anybody knows what the hell episode 231 of Dynamite is. What's the date?
June 3rd, 2024.
Oh, so okay. But since
still all within the last year, they've had 3 singles matches against each other.
But since they've made this feud like the thing between them, it's been 2 matches, one at World's End, one at Full Gear, correct?
Yeah. Back-to-back pay-per-views.
Right.
So,
and it's 1-1. I'm gonna go Will here. I think the match is gonna be nuts. Kyle has really come into his own. I've been screaming this along with some other people for months now. I think Kyle's a full-blown star. I think he needs to not look a certain way, in my opinion. The dude's shredded. He's absolutely built like a brick. He's fit, but he looked very, very similar to Randy Orton for a little bit. So I'm just hoping we get.
But why is that a bad thing?
No, but I mean, listen, in the wrestling industry, like let's use an example. Who was unique? Taz. Taz was very unique, had a unique look. Kurt Angle, unique look. Even Brett. How many people look like Brett? Not a lot of people. Shawn, Taker, Nash. A lot of these people don't look the same for a reason. You got to stand out. And I think Kyle, is starting to stand out a little bit. And he's somebody who I would absolutely keep my eye on for the AEW World Heavyweight Championship. And I'm going to go with Will. I think Ospreay did that one on purpose. I think Will's going to get the victory. I think it'll be interesting to see where Ospreay goes for All In. That's what I'm really trying to put my finger on.
I love that every time we've been talking about AEW, you've been when Dynasty's not happening, Double or Nothing is not happening. What's going to happen at All In?
Well, I think that's what you need to do. I think that's the WrestleMania. So
it is.
Will Ospreay has to. Where's he going? Is he going for the World Championship? It doesn't seem like he's fitting into that picture right now. But we'll have to wait and see.
True. Someone who I'd like to see in the world title picture at some point, but he's got a big match for the Continental title. Brody King, who you like to call a dog.
Yeah, Brody King
Kazuchika Okada. This was announced just like, we're having the match. And I'm like, damn, this card was loaded already. Yet this is going to be another crazy-ass match.
So supposedly, I didn't watch Collision because I was watching the Elimination Chamber, and then I tried to catch up on Collision.
How dare you.
Right. But life kind of got in the way. But I was told that the reason why this match is happening is because Okada opened a door or cut off Brody King and Julia Hart's promo, and that's why the match was made. I don't give a shit why the match is made. It's just happening, and it's going to be a great match. Love me some Brody King, but I'm going to go with Okada. I don't think Okada drops that championship until All In.
Yeah, against Mr. Omega, who we'll be talking about later on. Yeah, I think Okada as well. But man, Brody King getting really solid matches, on pay-per-views, good TV time. And hell of a character. Love him, Julia Hart. I love all the Hounds of Hell. I love that they lose the top guy out of there, and yet they're all flourishing as their own entity. So I'm really excited to see where Brody King goes after this, regardless win or loss. This has been
him and Hobbs. Him and Hobbs.
Oh yeah,
people I would love to see win some singles gold in AEW or get a push to the top, because they both just have it for me. I'm a big Willie Hobbs fan, and I'm a big.
And you want more than just the TNT title for those guys? Because is that enough? Because you got to have some sort of mid card. And that's not a knock.
I think that's a stepping stone. I'm here for that. I just think that both Brody and Will have a lot of uniqueness to them, and something that AEW needs to highlight. That's just me.
Well, I think a lot of people would agree with you. I think both those guys have a lot of potential in them, and that's a good problem to have, especially when we're talking about. Okay, Mitchell does not like the Protostar. I did not refer to him as that, because you did reference Star earlier, and I was like, oh, you mean the Protostar?
Oh, look at that picture of Blake, huh? With the glasses and the full locks. Homie, where? How old is that?
Also, why is he in the like the 1/3 of the shot? It's like, look, this is my Blake shot.
He's gonna kill you for that. Dooley, what up, Chris?
I didn't say he didn't look good.
I'm just kidding.
I like the flannel personally.
What up, Chris? They got to get the title off of Daniel Garcia. I would agree. It was interesting. They put the championship on Garcia. He was kind of in that last shot at Wrestle Dream when they were, laying out Brian, and he was stretchered out, the Death Riders. And I would say he's the one that has the least bit of momentum right now, even though he's the TNT champion.
To make a NASCAR reference, it's when 3 cars are going at the same time, and that middle car starts drifting back because it doesn't have the draft. So same type of thing. I can relate sports. Next, MJF, Mr. Hangman Adam Page in a grudge match. Again, these guys, every time that they have a promo segment, they kill it. MJF tried to light Mr. Page on fire. Here we go.
Did you like what they did last week or last night?
I liked MJF being like carried out by like 15 dudes and him being like, hey, I just want to make my point. I just want to make my point. He's very over the top. And his shirt was great too. I want to say that. But why did you not like it? Drop a bomb, Drew.
No, I just thought it was the weakest out of everything they've done. They had a lot.
It's tough when you have a face-to-face promo where they're going off on each other. It's tough to just every week can't be, better than the last.
I would have had something where, MJF was already at the crypto.com arena, like just waiting for Hangman. And he's showing he's damn near the lengths he's going to go to. He's gone full insane. And he's just waiting in the parking lot, and they can have him rocking or something and being like, Hanger, I'm waiting for you. I know Sunday's a long day.
He pulls up in that truck with the JBL barbed wire horns. No, wow, you didn't like that.
That is, no, not a fan.
Was it a Bronco?
No, it's a Ryvan.
Oh, okay. It looked a little bit similar, but I couldn't really tell. Again, they had those horns on the front.
Yeah. And I like Max. Max is one of those talents that AEW needs to keep and they need to highlight and everything else, because he is unique. But the screaming promo, it sucks, Max. It does nothing. All you do is raise your voice. People don't lock in. They don't pay attention. Do something different. That's what he does.
Anything else?
It's bad. No, it's bad.
It's bad. Woo! Bad. Pew, 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 pew. Drew is on fire tonight.
I like Max, but he's got it like that. You give me something unique. Your character is unique enough. Just stick with it and cut out the yelling into the camera.
I like when he does it. I don't want him to overdo it. Maybe that's my potential issue with it. But I like when he gets to that it's not a comedic pitch, but it's that like flair pitch of like
that's
shrieking
fine.
over the top. But yeah, but like
when it's
I get what you're
warranted,
saying. Yeah.
when it's warranted, it makes a lot of sense because I understand he's a student of the game. He watches a lot of Rick, he watches a lot of Roddy. I get it. But you want to know what? Like back in the day, Hulk Hogan used to hit 3 lines and swim on out, brother. We can't do that anymore.
He hit a few more than 3.
I mean, he hit the hits.
No, right over your head.
Oh, yeah, got it. Yeah, sorry. I got what you're saying.
That's why he was swimming out of the fucking camera.
Yeah, so but whatever. But at least he played. He played the hits, and it was the '80s and all that, and the '90s. Yeah. But times have changed. Like I'll be honest with you, whenever you scream into a camera or a microphone or whatever, I will look immediately, and then you have 2 seconds, and then I'm like, fuck this guy.
You got to say something important.
Yeah.
Like you could say whatever you want, like you could say it however loud or quiet you want, but if the words don't mean anything, like Jake Roberts, he says a lot and it's very calm and collected.
Great promo.
WrestleMania 6, he didn't need to scream, but you knew exactly what he meant. And then there's guys that yell, but still what they said, even if it's a little bit, they still got it across. You have to find that balance.
How about Hook? Guy says maybe 3-4 words, but Hook, he's unique. He's
unique. Hooks you.
Right. He's unique, and the other thing is like, and Chris is going to make my point right now. I was just about to say about the Warrior. The Warrior was a come to life cartoon character in the 90s that worked. This is not the 90s. Max wrestles at a phenomenal rate. Max is a very, very smart individual. He does a lot of good business, but I will say the one thing that I think that Max overdoes is the playing up on past demons and the yelling. That's it.
Well, it's interesting. It's interesting for sure. Who do you think wins this match? MJF and Hanger.
I think Max loses, and I think we'll have a rematch at Dynasty, and I don't know. I think Max is going to snap. Maybe that's the reason why he's yelling. Who knows?
You're like, please, I got to find some way for him to make sense of him just yelling all the time. Something's going to come to fruition. I think MJF's going to get a sneaky win as he usually does, and Hangman will get his receipt and a victory at the following match that they have together.
It's very interesting, too, because the Jeff Jarrett thing is like dead. Like deader than dead.
Literally, when's the last time Jeff was on TV?
So it seems to me like Max probably saw stuff on the internet, or Max just was feeling the vibes and was just like, nah, not doing this.
I don't see why they had to mend those two together. Why couldn't Jeff Jarrett just have aspirations for the title and just eventually get there? Why did it have to be immediately after he says he has aspirations? Oh, here's a program with the top like heel you have. Make it work.
Well, and he's on the board of directors for Acclaim now, so we'll have to.
I was gonna say he works for Acclaim.
So good for Jeff. Jeff's always getting a check. So.
Not the Acclaim though; they are Dunzo. But you know who's not Dunzo in the tag team division? They Hurt People, and they're taking on the Outrunners. The Hurt Syndicate versus the Outrunners, AEW World Tag Titles. I love both these teams. I think it's been great to see Bobby Lashley and Shelton Benjamin as a tag team, as a tag team, not just a part of a team. They're legitimately a tag team, and they're winning the titles, and they're defending them now. And the Outrunners are a wonderful throwback. Their vignettes are great. I love every type of interaction they have backstage.
It was a good one last night.
It's a clear throwback, but like they lean all the way in. That's what I want. If you are going to do something a certain way, take it as no. I'm not saying that they're going to win. I'm just saying for their gimmick choice and how they play up their character. Like if you're going to be the 80s guys, literally do everything to that level. Don't ever change it a little bit. Like go as far as you can with it. That being said, the vignettes are always shot in VHS. They're still doing 80s.
No, I'm saying have they like veered away from the 80s? No, right?
No, that's why I like them so much. They live it. Yeah. That's what I like. But unfortunately,
why is that, Juice? I kind of laid that up for you. You just didn't take the bait.
What?
Why do you dig them so much?
Because they're a throwback to when wrestling was great.
Because they're unique.
They're unique. What do you mean you laid it up for me? All I said was everything about them without saying the word unique.
Well, what I'm saying to you is that that's why they hook you, because they're unique.
They're unlike anything else on the show.
But that's my point. If you want, in my opinion, if the professional wrestling industry wants to look at things, barometers, obviously merch, everything else like that, but uniqueness is key.
Yeah, for sure.
You're unlike everybody else. That's going to make me pay attention to you for a little bit. You have my attention. Don't lose it. And that's it.
And they scream, but it's almost like, like a joke.
It works because it's the 80s.
This guy right here, he knows ball. He knows what he's doing.
I think.
But I think the Hurt Syndicate puts a hurting on the Outrunners and sends them back to the 70s. So,
well, I'm all for the Outrunners getting this tag team championship opportunity because I do dig what they're doing as well. But it's interesting to me.
They're gonna be so over. They're gonna be
but what happened? What happened to the Gun Club? They have a championship opportunity, and then they're just like gone.
Yeah, you got me, man. Why couldn't it have been a multi-team match?
It's interesting that them and Jay White haven't been seen together either. Very interesting.
Yeah, we'll get to that without the convoluted realm of the AEW World Title.
But, they better not. You better not.
We'll talk about it. So yeah, Hurt Syndicate all the way. Mercedes Moné versus Momo Watanabe, AEW TBS title. Like I said before, I'm hopeful this is not a Stephanie Vaquer situation for AEW's sake, where they have a killer match and then they don't get Momo to work on their shows again, and she goes to NXT or something.
Momo's not working again. She's working this show, and then she's going to go back to the company that she's employed by.
I understand that, but okay. Why do you take it so literal? I'm saying they had a match with Moné and Vaquer, and it was like, wow, what a great match. And then Vaquer signs with WWE. Momo could easily end up with WWE. I'm just saying AEW would be, it would suck for that to happen again, where they showcase this match with a Stardom wrestler, and then if her contract comes up at some point, she ends up not going back to where she had the North American match.
Well, Vaquer was, not. I think Vaquer had an out clause or didn't want to be a part of CMLL or AAA wherever she was because of some certain circumstances, and they accommodated her. I'm not quite sure Momo's contract is up.
And I'm not either. I'm just saying I'm hopeful that they just have this match and that they will be able to work with her again. And it not just
Mercedes can run through her again. Yeah, I'm gonna pass on that one.
Well, I mean, it's gonna happen. Mercedes is gonna win.
No shit.
Sign, sealed, delivered. Should have said that on the media call. What is Moné ever gonna lose? Tell me that right now, please.
Yeah. I don't know about that one.
That'll get you invited to another one.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing. I love how these people online are like, come on, someone needs to ask, like, what does Tony do after the show's over? It's like, shut up, dude. Shut up.
What hotel's he gonna go to? I want to know.
Shut up. A waste of time. Some of these people are a waste of air.
I agree 100%. So you think Monet is going to run through her? That's it. Signed, sealed, delivered.
Oh yeah, it's over. I mean,
the match, it's already over.
I mean, they're going to have a good match. There's no damn near a great match, but everyone came for my neck when I was like, okay, and then what do we do after this?
That's the big question that is really the one that needs to be answered by any company is, what do you have next for these people?
And then you get everybody being like, this guy doesn't want to see a match of the year candidate. It's like, we get them every pay-per-view. That's not what I'm here for. There's no shortage of great matches in AEW. What there is shortage of at times is meaningful storyline progression with this goddamn TBS championship and Monet at the helm. She can't just run through everybody like Drano. Who's she going to? She is.
She's done. Already did it. It's done. Yeah, I agree with you. Drew. Swerve Strickland, Ricochet, #1 contenders match, AEW World Title opportunity on the line here. Swerve and Rick O'Shea. Like I said with
Ricotta, that's Ricochet and Okada's tag team.
I know. I was like, ricotta cheese? What are we doing here, Drew? I ain't coming up with anything here. But yeah, same with Kyle Fletcher.
Never.
Spoiler alert, never. Same with Kyle Fletcher, like I mentioned earlier. Ricochet is doing his best work. It's crazy. Ricochet was a guy I'm like, he'll always have a job because he's an amazing wrestler. Like, it's unbelievable. But I never would have thought he could do really intricate promo work and have deep stories and a character.
Agreed.
And he went to WWE where they specialize in that. Yet he goes to AEW and he's doing wonderful work. And I'm thrilled to see how this goes. I think I'll tell you this. I think Prince Nana's turning on Swerve, and I think Ricochet's winning the match.
So I would say that's a very good prediction. I think Ricochet beat Swerve, but everything would tell you after last night's segment that Ricochet is going over. But I'm gonna go with Swerve here. I'm gonna go against the grain. I'm gonna go with Swerve.
Okay, but I think again, almost every one of these matches, it's gonna be a great match. That's what you can guarantee with AEW.
What happens next?
Yeah, that's right. And well, arguably the greatest story I feel that AEW has ever told potentially comes to a close. Falls Count Anywhere, as I read here. Mariah May, Timeless Tony Storm, 3, the trilogy. Bigger, badder, better. Man, the little segment they had with Renee was wonderful. Tony being very calm and collected. Mariah being unhinged. They're a match made in heaven, Drew. Who do you see winning this thing?
Tony.
Me too. I think Tony retains.
If they want a rematch of some sort, they'd have to put the championship back on Mariah. Otherwise, this has got to be it for a little bit, my opinion. So.
Yeah, and again, we bring this up. What's next? I'm interested to see who would be challenging Tony next after, because this has lasted for quite a long time now, and it's been doing great business. But but I am curious as to who would challenge Tony next, assuming she does retain. But looking forward to that as well. And I didn't know it was Falls Count Anywhere until I literally looked this up. I guess that is confirmed. But that makes it quite, the more intriguing match to have that stipulation involved. So
I would tend to agree. It'll be very interesting to see, with that stipulation attached, what they do. But I'm gonna stick with Tony.
Yeah, me too. Alpha Omega 1-on-1 international title. Konosuke Takeshita versus Kenny Omega. Again, this match could steal a show, much like any of the other ones could. It's great to see Kenny Omega back into a huge match on pay-per-view again after his time out. So I'm looking forward to seeing how he performs.
I wish there was more of this on Dynamite. Like, that was the one thing I was kind of like, where the hell is Takeshita? Where's Omega?
They just did a little like a promo segment. No,
it was like pre-tapes.
Yeah. Yeah, that wasn't anything live, and I doubt they'll do anything on Collision to further it.
Collision's taped. I don't think they do.
Well, again, they would just do another pre-taped thing. So.
Oh yeah.
But I think this match is going to be great. I'm looking forward to seeing the in-ring action again. Kenny's on top of his game, I'm sure. Takeshita, I did like that about the video package, seeing how Takeshita was a young boy in New Japan and in DDT, and Kenny wrestled with him and was like, hey, like, you've earned my respect. And now it's all flipped. Takeshita's champion, and he's got Don Callis, and Kenny is chasing.
It's good that AEW does these. It's good that they continue to put like stuff out, because some people don't know this. I know a lot of their fans are sickos.
That was an early criticism of AEW, by the way.
Yeah. I don't know what they did 10 years ago. I don't know what they did 5 years ago, 6 years ago in Japan. What are they doing now? And if you are going to talk about it, then show me. But this match has a lot of story, a lot of build. I'm here for it. This is one of the matches on the pay-per-view that I think has a lot of the fans invested, because I fully believe that Kenny is taking the championship off of Takeshita. But I will say that the story here of these two is great. But the way we got here with this version of this match was convoluted at best. All you had to do was have Kenny beat Roderick Strong, and then Kenny beat Cassidy, and we're off to Kenny and Takeshita. That's all you had to do. And if honestly, after Grand Slam Australia, all you had to do was announce the goddamn match, and that was it. There was already a story there.
They could have easily done that, and it would have been, oh, okay, I get it. Because they've done less for other matches, and we've been like, yeah, okay, can't wait for the match. Like, doesn't matter how they got there. Like, what Brody and Okada.
Kenny Omega thrones Okada, by the way. Show.
Yeah. But yeah, with Okada and Brody King, it was like one little thing happened. Okay, the match. And I'm fine with that. And nothing, we want stories, but if you're going to get to something, it doesn't necessarily have to be this great, intricate story. Or when they try to make it that way, and then it becomes, convoluted, as you said, it's like they try too hard to just, sometimes the simplest option might be the one to go with.
They had it. It's right there. There was no need for all this. I mean, everybody bought in a Takeshita Omega match because of the feud with Callis and everything that's gone on with it. So that was it.
And they had a great match already in the past in AEW.
Yeah.
So why not run it back? So let's close it out. Mox Cope World Title. This is interesting because are we going to see Jay White? Are we going to see Wheeler Yuta? What's going to happen? Is Christian going to cash in? What do you think, Drew, in that big old head of yours? What do you got rolling around in the booking brain of One Bay Dalla?
Not much. I would say that I'm here for a Cope championship title reign. Do I think it's going to happen at Revolution? Probably not. Would I like to see it happen? Yes. Here's my prediction. This is not a spoiler. I don't get those, but I will tell you that I think that Jay White is going to be ringside for this. If Jay White, and he announced that, but if Jay White is the reason that Copeland loses, I will be very dissatisfied. What I will say is I think FTR is going to turn on Cope. Because where were they, and why weren't they asked to help take out the Death Riders instead of Jay White? That's my thought.
Well, are you trusting that AEW will follow that up, or is it just FTR wasn't there and they just didn't write them into it and they didn't have a plan for it?
I don't know. We'll have to wait on Sunday to see, but I'm telling you right now, if Copeland wins the championship and then Jay White turns on him and then Christian cashes in, that sucks.
Just right, because you start doing because you're going to go to Jay and Cope instead of Cope and Cage.
And I don't mind if Cage cashes in and wins the championship. I just don't want to see Jay White be the reason Cope loses this match or loses the championship and then Cage cashes in. I just don't want to see Jay White being the focal point. It was telegraphed many weeks ago. I talked about it. You talked about it. Everybody and their mother talked about it. Just don't do it. It's obvious. Don't do it.
Would you prefer Cope to just win and win the title, and whether it's Jay White or whatever, but that the show goes off the air as Cope champion, and then Christian he announces a cash in down the line, like, I want to have this match? Or would you rather have Cope win the title and then immediately have it taken away from a Cage cash in? What do you think serves the story better?
I would love to see Copeland just win the thing and have a run. I wanted to see Copeland and Omega. I don't think we're getting that right now. Copeland and Omega will lock up before Copeland calls it a career in AEW, but I will say that I'd much rather see a Copeland wing and then Christian kind of sitting in the skybox or backstage on a monitor going like this
with the Rizzler,
or cashing in. That works too. But I don't, if Mox is going to walk out as champion and it not because of something we don't see coming, like an FTR or something. First of all, Mox winning because of outside interference blows, but at least give me something that I'm like, okay, I could see that this could work, and that would be FTR. If Jay White and the Ass Boys or Jay White singular cost Copeland, I'm out. And they got a lot of people invested in this. Don't mess it up.
I agree. And again, they've planted that seed of, well, Mox doesn't have anybody anymore. Yeah. I hope no one somehow turns on Cope. It is telegraphed. There's like, here you go, guys. What do you think is going to happen?
Dude. It's more than telegraphed.
More than telegraphed.
I'm hoping. I'm hoping that is not what happens, truthfully.
Yeah, me too. I would rather Jay White not be anywhere near it. Why couldn't Cope win and Mox beat his ass and then Christian cashes in and Christian whatever, and then the next, like, why couldn't Jay White be involved on another show and talk to, like, have that start some other show? Why does he have to be involved in this world title match right now based off of one tag match?
Why isn't Jay White doing something else but watching Copeland or sitting ringside?
Right? Is that what he is gonna be the Rizzler? He's gonna come out and be the timekeeper.
He could.
It was funny when you did the Rizzler thing. I thought of The Rock doing his thing. They should do a smash cut of him doing this and then it turning into the Rizzler. Oh man, hell of a week of wrestling this week, Drew. We knew it coming in, but we really, we could have guessed, but yet we still were blown away by Cena turning heel. Like the fact that I'm just saying it and they pulled it off. Yeah,
I mean, people pulled it off. People predicted everything, but nobody actually was like, they saw it coming.
Yeah, no one thought, oh, they'll do it.
And unfortunately for that guy who was so adamant about Drew McIntyre, had that pan out.
Oh.
He's the first one out.
That's the best part, because you brought up like, hey, if you're available to bet on this through Bet Online or whatever, go ahead, cash in now, because he's plus whatever first guy out. That almost seemed like on purpose. Like, hey, we know people are saying this, and he's not going to win anyway. Make him lose first. Make any other follow up from Elimination Chamber, like we called Randy Orton coming back, so that's set up. That's pretty cool. We talked about the Jade thing. So
who called Randy?
Everybody and their mother, but most importantly, Drew Baydala.
That's right. I called it. No, I'm just kidding. It was, if you didn't call it, you've been living under a rock. One of my buddies shot me a text and they're like, how about this for John Cena's first t-shirt as a heel? You can't see me was his thing for a while, right? How about you can't be me? I was like,
that's something. I think they could. Well, that's the problem. And that was the thing we really didn't touch on, is like, we talked about how Cena and Cody as a face versus face matchup clearly works. But Cena as a heel now, and it happened. The Toronto connection is crazy, because that's where Rock and Hogan, they had a split crowd, and not really split. It turned into Hogan. Where now Mania, where with this Mania, could the fans? It all depends on how Cena portrays himself as a heel. Will the fans back Cena? Because they don't want that now. They made Cena the heel so that you root for Cody. Because the final boss is one of the most dastardly characters. They switched that up last year so that you booed him too. Now Cena's there. You want to put it all in. So I'm not sure if they're going to do merch for Cena at this point.
I don't think they will.
They don't want to leave any shred for people to cheer him at all.
Willie Sustained says, aka Billy Bomb. Hey Drew, my man, quick question. Do we see either Mike Bailey or Josh Alexander show up at Revolution since we possible?
I think see Josh one of those guys.
Yeah. I would assume that Josh Alexander probably gets like the whole, like the newest signing to All Elite Wrestling. Josh Alexander. And that's the thing. A lot of people were like, oh, just because Josh, signed with such and such doesn't mean he's not going to end up in WWE. First of all, Josh was with TNA. If Josh was going to end up in WWE, all they had to do was have Josh do some of the cross promotional stuff, and he would have just stayed in TNA and showed up in WWE. So he gone. The one thing I will say here before we get off the air, this was a fun episode, but I will say that WWE has a lot of work to do in terms of regaining interest with Jey Uso and Gunther, because
oh my God, I know. Huge Rumble win. What happened with that?
Right. You have John Cena's heel turn. You got Randy Orton returning. That's all everyone was talking about at the Chamber. And I know Jey didn't wrestle. I know Gunther didn't wrestle.
Yeah.
But shit, they got a lot of work to do to get people back invested. That won't take much, but that's got to be a focal point going forward for sure.
That's why I think if you keep them kind of on the back burner and then Jey Uso is the third man, that would be insane.
That would work.
Man, no yeet.
No yeet, brother.
Him going back on it would be nuts.
It would. Where can everyone like, subscribe, and follow you, my man?
At Juicy Steen on Twitter. I've been talking a lot of WCW today, and I will be doing that for the foreseeable future. So, check me out there. The Juice Box every Friday. If you want to hear me solo, I'll be recording it tomorrow, because I want to do a deep dive into the Cena heel turn. So I'll be, having the floor with that, having fun with that tomorrow. But love doing the show, Drew. Glad we could squeeze in with no technical difficulties this week.
None.
Good. Sounds good.
Here always to be looking good and sounding good. Juice, this was a good show. I'm at Andrew Baydala. Make sure you hit that like, subscribe, and follow button on Final Bell Media. Subscribe to my Twitter. Follow Juice. Make sure you keep it locked. We do these videos every Thursday. Next Thursday we'll be here. The following we will not. But what I will say is we'll make that up. But again, this was a great episode. Episode 9, we talked about the biggest heel turn in professional wrestling history. In my opinion.
You turned on me, Drew.
And we previewed AEW Revolution. It's been a good week here in professional wrestling. It started Saturday. We're not quite yet to Saturday, but man, what a week. And I look forward to Sunday in LA. I will not be there, I don't think. unless plans change. But
you fly it by the seat of your pants, man.
I do.
You'll be there. You'll be Sunday afternoon. Hey, by the way, I just arrived in LA, so
I do. But you know what? That's the beauty of this business. So we'll have to wait and see. But this was a good episode. I appreciate you doing it. I appreciate everybody tuning in. Nicholas, Chris, Ben, 316, Blake Mitchmore, Sean, Catherine, King of Comics. Who else we got here?
Dooley, Blake,
That's
Sean.
Chris.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I already said Blake Mitchmore. Jake. These guys.
Around the mat. PJ's in here. Shout out to PJ North.
PJ North. All right.
Yeah.
There you go, Chris. Enjoy MSG. I don't think I'll be at that one either. MSG. MSG is a wonderful venue. I've been there numerous times. The new MSG breaks my heart a little bit because it's like too new. But hey, it is.
I was there for the New Japan Ring of Honor Super Show.
Because I was like,
yeah, but I was like, if I'm in New York for Mania weekend and these tickets are available, I want to go to the Garden. I don't know how many times I get a chance to, so I was glad to do it. Are you coming out to Pittsburgh for Raw June 30th?
No, I'll be at Revolution though, or not Revolution. I'll be at Dynasty. God, I'm willing that into existence. I guess I'm going to be at Revolution too.
All right, I guess I'll see you at Revolution. Yeah, Dynasty, Philly.
I'll be there for Philly's
Dynasty.
Yep. I will, just because I'm a man of the people, I will answer this. But we've answered this a bunch. Drew and Juice, what do you think? Do you think that it's unfair that Liv Morgan has been working hard the last 2 years? Why can't she have a WrestleMania moment? I think Liv, first of all, Liv was in a lot of, prominent pay-per-views, PLEs, prominent television programming as well.
Arguably the MVP of the chamber match, in my opinion.
Yeah, and I think Liv's going to have a good moment at WrestleMania. So it might not be the moment you want or some of her fans want, but being on the card and having a big role is important, and I think she has that.
She's tag champion right now.
She is. All right, Juice, this was fun. Make sure you guys hit that bell for notifications. When we go live, you will know. Hit the like button. We appreciate our love and support. We'll catch you guys and girls next week as we break down what happened at Revolution, and maybe we get some more, John Cena news. Who knows? But maybe. I appreciate it. Juice, you enjoy your weekend, and you guys stay tuned. Maybe we'll do something before Revolution.
Ooh.
See ya.
Love a good tease, Drew.